I want to talk about classism and racism. The reason why I want to talk about this is because I think it's really important for us to kind of identify what is seen in classism and what is seen in racism as well. Because a lot of people will try to say that because Obama was president, you know, he is the exception to, they will use him as the exception to us or black people having an excuse to not succeeding or not doing anything. And the fact of the matter is that he was one of the ones that was able to escape, you know, the level of oppression that could have been placed on his life, or there were certain things that he escaped that a lot of people in society or in communities don't get a chance to escape. And sometimes that narrative can be so generalized to how people look at people who haven't made it out or who haven't made it to a certain point where they can support themselves. Do you feel like, you know, the abuse, the stigmatism that is on Black America, do you feel like it is stemmed from, okay, why are you not doing this? Because I see this.
What's an example?
You know, we have any black person who have made it out.
If one black person makes it, then every black person in America doesn't have an excuse.
Right.
That's it, basically. What now?
That's on you. That's
Me?
on you.
I mean, honestly, as far as that, I think it's a concept to use against us. It's a good way to try and just debunk the fact that we're trying to talk about serious issues. I think uneducated people say that. I think people that have bad intentions say that. But I think it's, if you know anything, it's been anytime just researching, you know that a low number of black people make it in certain situations because of the environment they're born into, the structure they're in, and the system they're in. So, do we have a lot more opportunity than in the past? Yes. On a percentage basis, as far as the population, we still have a lot of constraints against us. You know, it's kind of like if there was a brick and a rose comes out, everybody's gonna say, well, the brick's obviously fertile because a rose came out. You don't see the other 10 roses that went this way, this way, this way, this way. A lot of time, you have to have certain people in your life in certain times that help direct you past all of the shortcuts or whatever that can stop, you know, stunt your growth. So I think that's a childish way of thinking, but the biggest thing I'll say is that, you know, no. If somebody said to me, I might even ignore them. It's below me, but yeah.
Do you think, and Natalie, you can I want, this question is directed towards you. Do you think that policies that are implemented in certain communities definitely is targeted towards people with, you know, that are below the poverty level? Of course they are, but do you feel like the policies that are being implemented today is good enough for, you know, to help struggling communities develop?
Do I think that struggling communities are a thought at the table where policies are being made?
Or do you feel like policies are actually changing the things that are happening in communities right now?
Yes, voting. Yes, I think, but hear me out. These policies are first written by people. Policies, we don't just grab them out of the air. And people are only in the position to create policy because we put them there. So if your concerns aren't represented by someone who cares about what you care about, then no. The answer to your question is no. And it's people who look like you and I, come from where we come from. We're from a diverse background, but for me, my parents came here from overseas, so they have a migratory perspective. And I want to put people in office who care about immigrants. And if I don't seek out, learn about local politicians who can implement policy, then no one's going to be at the table to implement those for me.
Yeah. Now, because I really don't feel like people really investigate a person's, what would you say, credentials to.
Well, not anymore. We just picked anybody.
Well, so how do you like what do you feel like people should do to actually like not so much so get involved when it comes to like voting, but
to like inform themselves.
Yeah, because that's I feel like that's a book you would have to read on every single person to like really understand. And social media has definitely taken its place in the information realm. So with social media being there, with news outlets being there, with fake news being there, how do you feel? What's the best way a person can become educated on people who want to go into the political realm that wants to serve the community?
Well, the most interesting thing about our generation is we are the generation with the most access to information, but we have the least knowledge. And that's crazy. I don't know how our parents voted because they can hop on the internet and look at Colin Allred or who is my Texas Railroad Commissioner up for election. How do they do that? So how you and I do that now is to seek out the easy way. The easy way is by following social media pages, getting on the Texas legislator website, seeing who's up against. Like, even if there's two Republicans, they can be vastly different in the things that they care about. Research it. It's all out there. And they have a responsibility to put it out there so they can differentiate themselves from one another. Or else, how are you any different?
Exactly.
Even in businesses, how does what you do differentiate from the next guy?
Yeah.
We're all about being unique. So it's easy, but do you care?
Right.
And I didn't always care. I only cared because my anger got to a level that mobilized me, and that was only this year.
Because I can remember the first time I voted, and this was just period.
Are you going to disappoint me?
Were
you 22?
The first time I voted was in 2008.
You were. That was 12 years ago. Okay, I wasn't in your life yet, but that's
It's
good.
my age. But I voted off of one reason. I can boldly, state this. That I voted off for one reason. It was when Barack Obama took office, and it's because I never seen a black man take so many hits from white people, not criminalizing or making the enemy out of white people, but for him to get through, I think I voted for him not on knowledge but on emotion.
Sure. And that happens today.
And I didn't, and it wasn't because he was Democrat, because he could have been Republican.
He probably could have been a space alien.
He probably could have been a space alien, and I would have voted for him. But I know now that I voted for him, it was strictly off of emotions.
Yeah.
Do you feel like people are going to the polls and they're voting based off of emotions? Or are they voting based off of information?
I'd like to believe that we're moving towards the information phase because we're feeling empowered. But there's nothing that gets people together more than the hatred of something. I can talk about how I like 8-piece jeans all tailored and stuff all day, but I can talk longer about how much I hate faded socks or something. I think people stay engaged by their emotions. Information only takes you so far.
And I feel like that's where we're at right now. Like, we are
Enraged.
emotionally
Right.
mad,
Frustrated.
angry, Like we are at a really high emotional area right now.
There's a lot of tension.
There is a lot of attention,
There is a lot.
but will it help in the polls? Because I can get with the fact that you want to stand with me, you want to protest with me, or you even see my view. But when the numbers come back, it's not an accurate depiction of what I am seeing. So that means that I am looking at something, or you are acting out something that you don't emotionally feel.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying is that,
Are you connected to what you're saying?
or are you emotionally, or is the emotional attention that is happening right now is going to overpower the information that we actually have?
I think, it's a lot different too, because when you get to the, voting for president, which is one of the only things we're talking about, I'm assuming, right? I mean, there's two options. And people look at voting as presidents as which one aligns with me more, or which one's the lesser of two evils.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, and I think the media really pushes people's narratives, right? Because the last election, a lot of people voted for Trump instead of Hillary Clinton because of all the bad press she was getting around around election time. So as far as media relations, advertising, marketing strategy, his party was perfect with their timing and everything like that, right? It was lesser of two evils. Now a lot of people are probably looking back like, man, I went the wrong direction, maybe I didn't. She's also going to court right now, right, for the emails that were released whenever. So I think the media, the commercial, especially older people, they're gonna see a commercial, they're like, oh, that person's terrible. I'm going the opposite way.
Mm-hmm.
They hear something on the radio, they see the news reports, scandals from the past. I think it's very emotional charged. And I think the media knows how to put people's emotions. Whoever runs the media runs pretty much everything.
Right, unless you have your own opinion, but a lot of people don't.
Yep.
Because you don't care.
Mm-hmm. And you might be scared to go against your whole neighborhood on top of that.
What do you think is more important, the local level voting or national level voting?
You know what? They are so connected that
Well,
you
if you
cannot
were to
ask that question.
Politically, I cannot ask that question. Individually, I can, though, right?
You can ask me anything. They're so connected, and I didn't even know about it until I started to do my homework on my own. Everything that happens first happens in your district. The district goes to the Senate, and the Senate, Congress is made of the House and the Senate, and those representatives are elected in your state. There's so many House and Senate seats in your state. You elect those, they go to the table, they check the president. That's the way it works. And yes, there's a presidential election, but all that space under the president are a bunch of names, judges, commissioners, that you can vote for, that
Make decisions.
check the top.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, they are connected. You need them both. Great to care about one, better to care about the other.
You worried about black people getting too long of sentences, wrongfully charged? You see on the charge will show two people pulled over with a substance or some type of illegal activity, right? You'll see somebody on probation for 6 months, and you'll see somebody 36 years in prison. District attorneys,
Yes.
prosecuting lawyers, those are the people that make those micro decisions, right?
Yes.
And there's a lot of people that traditionally have been held by people who are in the KKK, who think very negatively against people, or immigrants, or whatever, right? Not everywhere, so don't ever get it wrong, everybody's bad. There's a lot of people who have a specific agenda that works against us, and they're in positions of power, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that meme we were talking about earlier with the Dallas, all kind of stats, it was showing like the KKK wizard of like Dallas, and then
Wizard.
some wizard or something,
Oh my
right?
God, a little video
So
game.
he became the grand wizard of the whole country, right?
Mm-hmm.
It also says, I forget his name, it says dentist in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
It just tells you like all this stuff is just integrated everywhere.
Right. Right. That's good.
Yes. Voting provides predictability. Voting provides power. You can have a hand in all of that. I love a good voting.
Well, that's it. I'm voting. Oh, I had no
Well,
voting.
you have no choice.
No, I mean,
We're on
I
the
think.
same ballot.
Yeah, no, I think. I definitely think voting is essential, especially now. You know.
Right. Like we're looking to the president to make all these decisions. Number one, however you feel about him, we don't have to look that high up to get an answer. You can look right here.
Right. So then
And you can go into your politician's office right now. You can go into the mayor's office. You can call him. Eric Johnson's a Dallas mayor. You can call him.
Yeah.
You can't call the president. So use your
Well, you can, you know, but you won't.
Who's answering? Just tweet him.
That sounds good. No, I think that's very important for us to understand how important it is to go out and vote, and then understand who we are voting for, so that we won't be voting on an emotional level, but an informative level. So that's good. I like that.
I like it too.
Voting makes you educate yourself as well. So there's the practice and act of voting. You're re-educating yourself about what's going on, who's affecting who. So I think at the very least, you're more aware of what's going on around you. You know.
So well said, Mr. Powell.
Thank you.
Should black people automatically be thought as a Democrat?
No, I mean, if you do your history, back in the day, Democrats were extremely conservative, Republicans were the other way. You know, so I mean, not a lot of people. I think that there are people that are Democratic representatives that just didn't have a space in representative ballot, and vice versa. So, from an outside looking in, you almost have to look at it as a two-headed snake, because at the end of the day, it's the government of the United States. There's federal laws in place that are set for things to work a certain way with certain barriers, and they're not going to go outside of it.
Yeah.
Right? So you need to, you know, if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever you are, whatever party, like you need to look at the whole scale, their history, what they've done, how they've traditionally voted in the past, what they're for,
Where their money goes.
where their money goes, who funds them.
Ooh.
I mean, you gotta do a deep dive, and it should be easier for us. Thankfully, things like the initiative are making it easier for us now. So, I mean, I think now I can kind of speak on the initiative a little more, but I feel like you have to be completely aware of what's going on. And it's not easy, right? We got a lot going on, right? Good Netflix shows are on, sports are coming back, but it's very important.
What's up, everyone? Listen, I'm so excited that you was able to join us today. I hope this message or content that was spoken was something that you were able to connect to. We are doing so many things in the community that we would love for you to be a part of. If you want more information on what we are doing, email us at info@theladderteam.com. There we will be able to provide you with more information on how you will be able to get involved. We thank you so much. Listen, if this message was something that you think somebody else needs to hear, feel free to share it. Feel free to send it to whoever you need to in order for them to hear what God has in store for them. Until next time, join us in part 2 of this message as we continue to do what God has put on the inside of us.